Imagine for a second you're a bank robber. What's the one thing you'd need for the perfect heist? Well, how about an endless supply of untraceable getaway cars? Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But this is the real story of a guy in Newport News, Virginia, whose day job gave him the ultimate, and I mean ultimate, criminal advantage. So you can imagine, for investigators, this was a total nightmare. This robber was hitting banks using a different car every time, and each one just seemed to vanish. Poof, gone without a trace. So how was he doing it? The answer wasn't some sophisticated piece of tech. It was actually something way, way simpler. Okay, so the guy behind all of this? A 38-year-old named Tyrone K. Jefferson. And his secret weapon wasn't a gadget or a gimmick. It was his employee ID. See, he worked at a rental car company, and that gave him access to the perfect criminal toolkit. And get this, he didn't just steal one car. He stole a sedan, sure, but the real genius of the plan was that he also stole a whole stack of different license plates. All he had to do was swap them out, and boom, he had a brand new, totally anonymous getaway car for every single job. To the police, he was a ghost. All right, so with his untraceable cars ready to roll, Jefferson launched his crime spree. And a really bold, really aggressive pattern started to emerge all across Newport News. Just take a look at this timeline. He hits a credit union on February 4th. Then, on the 26th, get this, he robs 2 different banks in a single day. And what does he do after these heists? He just takes the stolen money and the stolen car for a nice little trip to a casino in Portsmouth. The audacity, right? And he followed the exact same script every time. It was like clockwork. Arrive in the stolen sedan, walk in, throw a bag on the counter, and demand cash with no die packs, no trackers. In a couple of the robberies, he even brandished a firearm just to make sure everyone did exactly what he said. It was fast, it was efficient, and it was absolutely terrifying for everyone involved. But, no matter how clever you think your plan is, eventually you slip up. And for Jefferson, his whole operation started to unravel because of one single routine traffic stop. So the very next day after his double robbery, Newport News police spot the stolen sedan. They try to pull it over, but Jefferson just floors it, leading them on a high-speed chase. He eventually ditches the car and escapes on foot. So he's gone, but he left behind the one thing police needed most, the car itself. And when investigators searched that car, they hit the absolute jackpot. Inside, they found mail, they found court documents, all kinds of personal paperwork, and it was all addressed to one person, Tyrone Jefferson. His perfect, anonymous getaway car was literally filled with his own identity. The ghost now had a name. Now, with a name and a face, it's a whole new ballgame. The investigation goes from being about some mystery robber to a full-on targeted manhunt for a known suspect. But Jefferson, well, he wasn't quite ready to give up yet. I mean, this is just pure defiance. While the police are actively hunting for him by name, Jefferson goes out and robs another credit union on March 7th. He again pulls out a gun, demands cash, and this time he flees the scene on foot. His time, though, was definitely running out. On March 27th, police tracked him down to the one place he just couldn't seem to stay away from, the casino. He rolled up in a new rental car, and when police moved in, they found everything they needed. Inside the car was the rental paperwork with his name on it, a stolen handgun, and an extended magazine. It was over. So once this case gets to court, the full picture of Tyrone Jefferson really comes into focus. And this wasn't just a guy who made a few bad choices. No, this was a reckoning for a long-time established career criminal. I mean, just look at this record. 5 prior felony convictions, stretching all the way back to 2006. We're talking firearms charges, eluding police, grand larceny, and even assaulting a federal officer. This wasn't just a string of bad luck, it was a career path. So yeah, the jury didn't really need a lot of time to think about this one. They convicted him on all counts, for the robberies, for using a weapon, and for the simple fact that as a convicted felon, he was never, ever legally allowed to even have a gun in the first place. So what does all of this add up to? Well, it adds up to this number, 21. That is the mandatory minimum number of years that Jefferson is now facing in federal prison. A really powerful number that shows just how serious this crime spree was. And that 21 years is just the starting point.
A federal judge is going to look at all the factors, including his past, which means his final sentence could be way more, potentially even life in prison.
This case is so much more than just a story about a clever bank robber. It's really a look at a cycle of crime. With 5 prior felonies on his record already, Tyrone Jefferson's story kind of forces us to ask a really tough question. What does it actually take to stop a career criminal for good?